I'm Owen McCracken, and I'm the camera operator.
I'm Cami Wagler.
I'm Caitlin Stevens. I'm Katie Raber.
I'm Kennedy Sennett.
I'm Evan Waymeyer.
On January 22nd, 2024, I received some of the most devastating news of my entire life. My dad and I were getting ready to leave Red Lobster in Bloomington, Indiana, and then we got a phone call from my mom. She called to alert us that my grandfather and next door neighbor, Glenn Wagler, had passed away. When I heard those words, my heart immediately dropped, and I was in utter disbelief. He was 89 years old, and he wasn't in the best physical condition, but it still hurt tremendously to see him go. My grandpa Glenn meant so much to me that words could not even describe. Like I mentioned earlier, he lived right down the road from me, and I would go to visit him almost every day growing up. I became very close to him, and we built a very strong relationship in the 18 years we shared together on this earth. He also helped me build the foundation in which I live my life today. If there is one word that would describe the way my grandpa lived his life, it would be content. My grandpa was a member of the old order Amish church for his entire life, and he lived without electricity and other luxuries that most people would take for granted. Nevertheless, he never complained about it once and was always humble and content with what he had. Another big part of his personality is that he was a man of few words, similar to how I am. However, when he had something to say, everyone would stop what they were doing and listen because they knew it was something important. He also loved to tell stories. One of his favorite stories to tell was how he served 1W service in Indianapolis during the Vietnam War. And since he was Amish, he fell into the conscientious objective category for the war, which means he helped out in the healthcare department instead of serving in the war. This was one of the stories he would tell everyone who came to visit, and I will always remember him for telling that story to different people. Another thing I noticed about him is that he didn't like change. He wore the same set of clothes despite the poor condition they were in, sat in the same wooden rocking chair, and lived his life the old-fashioned way. This taught me a valuable lesson that you don't have to look the best or have the best things in order to have a successful life. Along with being very influential in developing my lifestyle, he was also a pleasure to be around. There was never a dull moment whenever I spent time with him. He was so genuine and classic in everything he did, which made him such a great and well-respected person. I'll leave you with two of my favorite memories of my grandpa Glenn. First, he got me a SpongeBob piggy bank for my 8th birthday. The reason this has a special place in my heart is because he hardly gave any of the other grandchildren birthday gifts, so this was very special for me. My other favorite memory of him was going with him and my grandma Berta to the Goshtoff Amish village in their horse and buggy for supper when I was 10 years old. This was so memorable for me because once again, not all of the grandchildren got to do something like this, so I felt extremely honored for that experience with him. Those were just two of my favorite memories with Grandpa, as I could go on and on talking about all the memories he and I made over the years and how grateful I am to have him be a part of my life. And even though I'm deeply saddened that my grandpa is no longer with us, I am very thankful and blessed for the time I was able to spend with him while he was alive. He had such a powerful influence on me that paved the way I live my life, which I can never repay him for. And there will never be a day I go without thinking about him. Thanks again for everything, Grandpa. You've done it for me, Grandpa. Until we meet again someday. Thank you.